over access to land. A similar process has taken place over time in Kenya, where repeated flows of especially Kikuyu-speaking people from their crowded home area into the Rift Valley and the former White Highlands has also given rise to growing ethnic tensions over access to and control of land. And these kinds of contests have engaged with and kind of effectively escalated contests for power at the national level. So after Ugwebonyi died here in Cote d'Ivoire, the struggle for succession gradually increasingly pitted representatives from 3 different ethnicized regional areas battling it out for control of the state. And in the early 2000s, this led to a fairly brief but nonetheless intense civil war. In Kenya, as is well known, repeated national elections have kind of reanimated these sorts of ethnicized contestation, resulting again in considerable violence at the national level. So I would argue that often the process of growing contestation over land and efforts to pinpoint and certify the rights of landowners, which often means pushing other land users off the land or obliging them to pay substantially for the privilege of using it, has reinforced both elected and unelected structures of authority at overarching levels. It seems to me that many of these kinds of complications have been reinforced, I would argue, by another reason for people to want to acquire land. Whether they plan to use it for productive purposes, whether they can build on it immediately or not. And that is that the combination of rising competition over land and contests encouraged by some kinds of policy interventions have made lives increasingly unstable and precarious for growing numbers of people. People at all levels of the socioeconomic system, including sometimes those with very modest and low incomes, would like to get hold of a piece of land because the value of land keeps being bid up by intensifying competition. So compared to lots of other assets, land is a stable or a seemingly stable asset to hold on to. And this means that acquiring land simply for the sake of trying to gain a bit of stability and security in otherwise turbulent economic lives is an added reason for contestation over land and pressure on authority to resolve such contests. And in addition, it seems to me that the sort of earlier history of land being claimed by people in multiple groups, families, communities, has given people an incentive and even a rising dependence on in developing strong social relationships with other people in their sort of immediate social domains. And many people, including Kojo Amanor, who was mentioned earlier, and Napoleon Peters, have pointed out that the capacity of many social relationships and institutions to provide for their neediest members has diminished over time, and that this has then reduced the incentive to make these kinds of investments. But of course, at the same time, it's increased people's dependence on social relationships and networks as the stability and level of their own livelihood has declined. So the increased need for networks, the reduced capacity is, it seems to me, another source of sort of ongoing uncertainty and tension that, once again, reinforces people's urgent desire to get hold of a piece of land if they can possibly swing it, and shunts a growing number of people out of the process entirely. Thank you.